Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage. I'm waiting for parts on the clutch. So meanwhile, I'm going to try to find out if the SLS system on this one works. As mentioned in the previous video, it seems to all be there, it's just empty. There's also some evidence that this car has been lowered, maybe at the front, possibly not at the back, because without the SLS it will just be very low. So maybe it's just lowered at the front. The rear axle is a bit weird on the 1, 2, 3 because it consists of springs with oil ram shock absorbers inside them that can adjust for height. So when you put something heavy in the back, it will raise up. So it will always ride at the same level. They stole that from Citroën. But this has been disabled on this one, or whatever happened. I've decided to try something that might be a waste of time, who knows, but I'm going to try to smoke test the system because there's a high possibility that there is a leak, and that's the reason why it's empty. I'm going to try to smoke test from the reservoir and see if I can see any leaks, because then I can fix it before I fill in oil. The other way I could do it was just to fill oil in, start the engine up and see if it raises up, but it could also just spray hydraulic fluid all over the place. So I don't want to clean up if I don't have to. So I'm going to try to smoke test it. So what I have done off camera since last time is I fixed the latch thingy, because before it wouldn't really pop out, so you would have to reach out and pull it up a bit, and then the thing that you pull in didn't pop out either. It was really annoying. Now I have looped it up and now it just works, which is really nice. Stuff like that really annoys me. I don't think any of you guys will be surprised about this, but the Mercedes got a party trick for accessibility when working on the car, because the hinges right here can be opened up, and when you do that, the bonnet can go all the way up, making it a pure joy to work on instead of that thingy. So this is the hydraulic reservoir for the SLS system. There's the feed hose for the pump and the return line, a way to check the oil level, and a very empty reservoir. Also, this is broken. We also need to fix that if the system works. Probably just gonna epoxy it back on. This line goes to the pump up here that pressurizes the hydraulic oil and leads it through that line and back to the rear axle. I'm gonna try to smoke test this and see if anything leaks. So let's rig up this smoke tester. This is a nice machine that is usable for a lot of stuff. And I always try to find new ways to use this machine because it's fun. I'm gonna remove this, place it somewhere, and then ask it to start making smoke. And I'm just waiting for it to make some smoke. I'm not sure, it's coming right there. I'm not sure it will be possible to smoke test the entire system because I don't know how the pump works. I don't know if smoke can go through that without it running. So maybe this will just test the circuit going to the pump. Then I could maybe fit it to the return and then possibly test the rear of the system, but I'm not sure I can test the canisters back there and so on, because I just don't know how it's closed off or opened up. So it's just an experiment. Maybe it's a waste of time, I don't know. But let's see. Okay, so the filler mechanism is not tight, at least. And I also got something there. Let me show you. It's leaking from this. It doesn't matter, it's just this one. But it's also leaking from this. The line going to the pump right there when it goes through the grommet. Not a big surprise. I better fix that to begin with. It has a bit of a smell, this smoke. So I'm just gonna use my extractor to get most of it out when I remove the plug. There we go. I'm gonna shut the machine off. It's just baby oil that's inside that machine that makes a lot of smoke, but it does smell like a lot of candles that you just blow out. It's not a great smell. It's probably not very healthy either. So this seems like a good idea. But let's fix that line and then redo the test. So I hope to have some kind of hose that I can use. It's gotta be a hose that can cope with oils. But other than that, it's not under pressure because it's just a feed line. So I'm gonna see how it's stuck down there. Wow, this car got a original Mercedes battery. That's pretty cool. That means that it probably has less energy than a Red Bull energy drink. It's off and not leaking. It's completely empty. I wasn't sure, but I got this. This is an oil hose, but it's not a hydraulic. It's a hydraulic oil hose, but it's not under pressure. So I have some very strong pipes for that kind of stuff, but that won't fit this build because it won't compress with the Jubilee clip and so on. And I can't use a coolant hose because oil will deteriorate it. Fuel line, fuel hose, I don't know. But this is correct oil line, and I actually bought this when I fixed some leaks on the SLS system on the white one some years back. So this one is perfect for that. One day I will buy myself one of those scissors for these kinds of hoses. Until then, I'm just gonna use a knife and risk cutting myself. Let's go ahead and fit that to the car. So with that changed, let's redo the test with the smoke tester. If we can find more leaks, or if that was the only one. So I just made a plug with this rubber thing with a hole in it, so I had to put a screwdriver in. Now it no longer leaks from there. And now I can just see if other leaks appears. It fills the system with smoke, but also some pressure. Not a lot though. So far I can't see anything. Oh, it's coming out of the return, so it's actually running through the entire system now. That's good news. I'm gonna plug that up also. So now that's plugged. Let's take a look underneath. I don't see any smoke on this side. I do see what appears to be quite low air pressure though, but that's not the point of this video. Let's check the other side. Nothing seems to leak from back here either. That's really good news. So I am going to call part 1 of this fault finding a success. We found one leak, fixed it. Now we don't seem to have any leaks, so I think it's time to just fill some oil in, hydraulic oil. And a small mention, it's some special oil that goes into the Benz, very expensive one. You can use other kinds that are cheaper, I'm told. You just have to make sure to use the correct one. And I'm not even gonna name them because it will just start a religious oil war. Let's drain the system for smoke. Yes, full of smoke for sure. What I'm going to do now is to start it up and fill some hydraulic fluid into this system, and hopefully it will start to work. It's gonna be really exciting. As far as I remember, this system takes 4 liters, and I guess it's pretty empty. So I got 4 liters ready, and then let's start it up and fill it. Got a leak. there's a leak down there. I'm gonna quickly lift it up and get something under it to catch it. Okay, so I had to hurry up a bit so I could catch as much of the oil, but we have two leaks. There's one leak at the rear left tire, and then there is a leak coming, quite a big leak up here that seems to be, I think it's gotta be from the high pressure line going to the rear somewhere. I'm gonna investigate now. I just need to clean up a bit. I'm not that worried about the front one. The rear one though could be more severe. Okay. We have a little problem. This is not going to be an easy fix. I should have taken a better look at the rear end because I was fooled. I really thought that those rams were still in there. It's pretty obvious now that they are not. Let me show you. When I was looking yesterday, I was just looking at the thickness of this one and thought that that wasn't just a regular shock. That got to be the ram because it's around that thickness. I should have looked a bit higher because, and to be honest, I don't know these cars that well. I don't know this system that well. I just found some pictures on the internet and compared it. But I was just looking at that, and then I was looking at the hose coming from the sphere and going up to the top of the strut. Now that I look, I can see no connection between the actual strut and that hose, and more so if I if I just try to grab that hose. It's not connected. This was a bit of a waste of time. You live, you learn. This is the first time I have been that involved in the SLS system. I thought that everything was there. In hindsight, I should have just pulled that line, but it just doesn't make sense for me to leave all that stuff back there if it's no longer used. I would have removed it. But it seems as though the height corrector thing is there, the canisters, the spheres are there, the lines are there, the pump is there. The pump seems to actually work because it is pumping oil back there because of the leak. It's just missing those rams. Those rams are really expensive to buy. So I'm gonna leave it to my brother-in-law whether he wants to continue with this or not. Now we know it's not there. So a bit of waste of time, but it was a fun experiment to try the smoke tester. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you in the next one, which will probably be fixing the clutch.